In this program, we're going to test whether cell numbers are valid and that it contains only numbers 0 through to 9. And for that, we're going to write a method function in which we return a value to the main program to say if it's true, the number is good, or if false, if the number contains letters. Let's get to it. In here, we're usually going to put all our variables in here. At this stage, I'm not going to use any form of variables because I want to show you how the parameter passing works. In the public, though, we're going to get a function. We're going to call it isValidNumber. And we're going to make that Boolean, which means it's going to return true, it is correct, the number is correct, or false, the number is not correct. However, we're going to pass to it I call it in number, which I make a string, which means I'm going to give to it a variable called in number, which we can use, and inside in number stores the actual value that I'm going to send. Control-Shift-C. So in here, I'm going to put now the following. We have to take a look at if there's only valid numbers. So I'm going to put there a constant, and I'm going to call it valid numbers, which is going to consist of a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of that. So now I'm going to go through the number in a loop, and the loop's going to stop whenever one of two things happen. Either I found a letter, or I haven't found anything and it's all numbers. So I'm going to create two variables here to help me with that. The first one is going to be a local counter, which and apologies, that need to be a variable. Which I'm going to make integer, and I'm going to be found, which I'm going to make Boolean. Assign them before the loop, initialization, incrementation inside the loop. So initialization before the loop. So I'm going to write there local counter. It's going to be set to 1. Then my be found, I'm now going to set to true. The assumption being that the correct format was given in the first place. So I take it in this stage that what they gave me is correct. So I'm going to say now, while be found, which means it is true, and local counter is still less or equal to the length of my in number, which means I'm taking whatever's in that in number. So if, for example, they pass to me 087, there, they pass that to me, I'm going to put that in there. Do the following. So I'm going to put there begin and end. So inside the begin and end, I'm now going to say if. So we have to get the first letter or the first number in number and compare it to our valid numbers. So to get the first letter inside that string, I'm going to put there copy. From in number, comma, and that's why we've got the local counter. That's why we've got the local counter, because that's going to give us where we are in our loop. It's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, comma 1. So now I've got that. Now I have to go and compare it to whatever's inside valid number. So I'm going to put there in front of it, find me the position of that whole thing, comma, valid numbers. So find the position. Now, if it's a 0, it's going to return true. But if it does not equal a number, then it will return 0. So if there is a number, it will return 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9. But if it does not equal a 0, or if it does equal a 0 in this case, it means it didn't find it. Which means then I'm going to put my be found to false. Else, I'm going to put my iLocal counter equals iLocal counter plus 1. Let's just run through this again. So I'm saying copy the digit out of in number where it's currently. So it will start off with 1. So now I'm going to check that digit. In this case, they gave me a 0. I'm going to check it in valid numbers. Yes, it's there. It returns a value of 1. So then it's going to increase the local counter because that is a correct 1. Then it will go to 2. And so it will go on until this one becomes false. Then we know that the whole number that they gave us in number is correct. So at the end, after the loop, and if it's not true, if there's an A, a B, or C, or whatever in it, it's going to say 0, and then it's going to become false. So I can just say here, result equals be found, if it found it or not. So there we go. Important, that is to return an answer to the main program. In the main program, all that we now need to do is to call that if statement with an if statement. So all that I have to do, I have to say if is valid number, and I'm calling just that edt student.text because that is a string. So I'm taking whatever they typed in edt student.text, take it to there and take it to this code. So if that returns true, then we're going to say read out dot lines dot add, and I'm going to say there student number correct. Else I'm going to have there read out dot lines dot add, and I'm going to say the student number incorrect. And I can do the same. I'm just going to copy and paste. I can do the same with the others, with the father's cell phone number, with the mother's cell phone number. So the second one, here's the first one for the student. So this is not going to be edt student, it's going to be edt father. So we're going to say here father, and here instead of edt student, we're going to have edt mother. And here we're going to say mother. And here we're going to say mother. Let's go and see if the program works. If we go and run the program, So let's put in a correct number, 078456123. So that is correct. Let's put in where just the last digit is incorrect. So it's 018123456 and then an O. And then let's start off with 0, something like that. And then let's go and test. There we go. Student number is correct because it only contains digits. This one, the last digit is an O, so the father's cell phone number is incorrect. And lastly, the mother's number is incorrect.